I grip my water glass too tightly as Mom slides the thick cream envelope across the dining table. The Matthews family crest is embossed in gold on the front, because heaven forbid my sister have a birthday invitation without a custom wax seal. Aren't they gorgeous? Mom beams, watching Bianca distribute the envelopes around the table. The calligrapher said it was the most elegant design she'd worked on all season. Dad clears his throat, chest puffing with pride. I secured the grand ballroom at the country club. Had to call in a favor with Jim Harrison, but for my princess turning 30, nothing but the best. Bianca squeals, flipping her perfect blonde hair over one shoulder. I've already got 150 people confirmed, and that's before sending these out. The Wilsons' daughter had 120 at her 30th, and everyone said it was the event of the year. She smirks. Until mine. I take a sip of water, letting the ice clink against my teeth. 10 years of these conversations. 10 years of watching Bianca's birthday turn into a national holiday while mine passes with a grocery store cake if I'm lucky. Mom turns to me, sliding a thick manila folder across the table, with her French manicured nails. A platinum credit card sits on top. We need you to handle everything again this year, dear. You're so good with details. The way she says it like she's bestowing a great honor instead of unpaid labor. I stare at the folder. Inside are magazine clippings, Pinterest printouts, and vendor contacts. The same folder I've received since I was 16, each year growing thicker with demands. Make sure they have that champagne fountain like the Wilsons had. Bianca interrupts, not bothering to look up from her phone. But bigger, and with the good champagne, not that cheap stuff. Dad taps the credit card. And put down the deposits with this. We'll reimburse you. Eventually. He chuckles like it's a joke we both enjoy. My fingers close around the folder. They're trembling, but no one notices. No one ever notices. I see myself at 17, canceling my sleepover to address Bianca's 21st birthday invitations. I see myself at 21, missing my own dinner reservation because Bianca's DJ canceled last minute and someone needed to find a replacement. I see myself at 24, watching my bank account drain as I covered the $4,000 flower bill that Dad promised to pay back next week. Still waiting on that reimbursement. I see my own birthdays exactly 2 weeks after Bianca's passing, in a blur of leftover decorations and distracted well-wishes. We're all partied out. Mom always says, let's just do something small. Small means forgotten. Small means an afterthought text message at 9 p.m. Small means nothing at all. Kendall? Did you hear me? Mom waves her hand in front of my face. I said we need the deposits placed by Friday. Yes, I say automatically. I heard you. Later that day, in my apartment, I spread the contents of the folder across my kitchen counter. The theme is glitz and glamour because old Hollywood was too basic, according to Bianca's latest text. The budget started at $4,000 and has somehow ballooned to $6,000. My laptop sits open to my bank account. $3,207.42. My entire savings, built dollar by dollar from my administrative assistant salary. I've never celebrated a birthday properly. Not once in 26 years. My phone buzzes. Rachel, did they rope you into party planning again? My fingers hover over the keyboard. Something shifts inside me, like tectonic plates that have been grinding against each other for years, finally breaking free. Not this time. I have a different plan. I close Bianca's folder and open my laptop to a new tab. Florida Beach Rentals. Another tab. Flight prices to Destin. Another. Swimming with Dolphins experience. My phone rings again. Bianca's face flashes on the screen, the professional headshot she made everyone use as her contact photo. I silence it and turn the phone face down. I create a new folder on my desktop labeled My Birthday. Inside, I save screenshots of beachfront houses with wide decks and ocean views, places where I could watch the sunrise with a mimosa in hand. Places where no one would ask me to make a single phone call or place a single deposit. My phone lights up again. And again. And again. I ignore it as I click Book Now on a blue bungalow with floor-to-ceiling windows and 5-star reviews. 2 weeks in paradise, spanning my 26th birthday. For the first time in years, I smile at the thought of a birthday, my birthday, and I feel something unfamiliar bloom in my chest as I enter my credit card information. It's not guilt. It's not fear. It's freedom. The next day, at the office, my phone buzzes for the 12th time this morning. I know it's either Mom or Bianca without looking. The constant vibration against my desk has become so distracting that Janet from accounting has started giving me sympathetic glances over her cubicle wall. Kendall, your phone's having a seizure again. My boss Mark comments as he passes my desk. He pauses, noticing my tight expression. Family stuff again? I nod, flipping the phone over to see 15 new text messages. Mom wants to increase the head count to 175. Bianca has changed her mind on the theme from glitz and glamour to diamond elegance, whatever that means. Sorry, I'll put it on silent. I slide the phone into my drawer, but Mark's hand on my shoulder stops me. Take 10 minutes, if you need to sort it out. Your quarterly reports are always early anyway. The moment he walks away, my phone lights up with Mom's face. I step into the break room and answer. Kendall, darling, I've been texting you all morning, Mom says without preamble. I need you to call the caterer immediately. We're adding 25 more guests, and Bianca wants those little lobster puffs she had at the Johnsons' anniversary. Mom, we've already signed contracts. Adding 25 people will cost. Money isn't the issue, dear. This is Bianca's special day. The kitchen door swings open, and Janet enters, then quickly backs out when she sees my face. I lower my voice. The budget was already at $6,000. Who's covering the extra costs? Well, you can put it on that card we gave you. Your father will settle everything after. Like last time? The words slip out before I can stop them. Kendall Elizabeth Matthews. I don't appreciate that tone. Oh. I almost forgot to tell you I'll be stopping by your office around lunch. I have some fabric swatches for the table linens. Before I can protest, she hangs up. I grip the edge of the counter, breathing slowly through my nose. I checked my bank account on my phone after I booked the birthday vacation. The amount that won't increase until payday next week. After the lunch break, and meeting with my mother, as she came by the office, when I returned to my desk, a wave of heat flushed up my neck. I slip away to the restroom, locking myself in a stall as my hands shake. That night, at home, I pull out old family photo albums from my closet. Page after page of Bianca's elaborate celebrations, her sweet 16 with a rented ballroom, her 21st with a hired band, her 25th with a weekend getaway for her and 20 friends. I flip through my childhood journal, the entries becoming a painful pattern. The 18th of April, STU, 2015. My 16th birthday today. Family went to Bianca's volleyball tournament. Mom said we'd celebrate next weekend but forgot. The 18th of April, 2016. No one remembered again. Dad gave me $20 when I mentioned it at dinner. The 18th of April, 2017. Rachel brought cupcakes to school. At least someone remembered. I slam the journal shut and reach for my phone, texting Rachel. Remember that Florida trip we talked about? I have booked it for my birthday. For real this time. I've had enough. Her response comes immediately. Finally, it's about time you did something for yourself. I'm in. For the first time in days, I smile. 2 hours and half a bottle of wine later, Rachel sits cross-legged on my living room floor, laptop balanced on her knees. So you're really going to do this? She gestures at my screen where the Blue Beach bungalow reservation confirmation glows. Just disappear for your birthday and let Bianca's party crash and burn? I nod, pulling up fake vendor contracts I've been creating all evening. I've already sent emails to my parents confirming everything's on track. They trust me completely to handle it all. God, they have no idea who they're dealing with. Rachel lifts her wine glass in a toast to the real birthday girl. The next morning at work, Michael from accounting leans against my cubicle. Got a minute? I follow him to the break room where he pulls out his phone. So I heard about your Florida plan from Rachel. I have these airline miles that are about to expire. How about a first-class upgrade for the birthday girl? Unexpected tears prick my eyes. Michael, you don't have to. Oh please, it's either you or my mother and she'd just complain about the champagne selection. He shows me the confirmation on his screen. Already done. That night at home, my phone buzzed with a text from Aunt Susan. Heard you're finally doing something for your birthday. Whatever you're planning, I support you 100%. Let me know if you need anything. An hour later, Rachel, Michael, and Lisa sent me their tickets. We are all going together. The contrast between these genuine connections and my family's exploitation feels like stepping from shadow into sunlight. Friday evening. At my parents' house, I spread the fake vendor contracts across my parents' dining table, catering, decorations, entertainment, all with convincing letterheads and deposit confirmations. "We trust you completely, dear," Mom says, not bothering to look at a single page. She slides an envelope across the table. "Here's the deposit money. $2,800 should cover everything, right?" Dad nods absent-mindedly, eyes on his phone. Bianca's upset about the color scheme again. She wants silver instead of gold now. "I'll handle it," I say automatically, the phrase I've uttered thousands of times before. But this time, the words taste different on my tongue. On Monday, 3 days later, I deposited the check into my account. The teller smiles. "Saving up for something special?" I think of the ocean view from my rented bungalow, the dolphin excursion booked for my actual birthday, the first-class plane ticket waiting in my email. "Yes," I answer, feeling the unfamiliar curve of a genuine smile. Something very special, just for me. During a family dinner, or rather another ambush on Saturday that week, the dining room feels smaller than usual, like the walls are inching closer with each minute of this emergency family meeting. 2 weeks before Bianca's birthday, and we're all summoned as if discussing national security. These decorations are completely inadequate. Bianca slams her palm on a catalog page. "This is the most important day of my life. The centerpieces need to be at least twice this size." Mom nods sympathetically while Dad checks his watch. I sit quietly, making notes in my planner, while mentally confirming my flight and booking details. "We'll need to increase the budget again," Dad says, pulling out his checkbook. His eyes flick to me. "Kendall, confront the difference until we get to the bank next week." I nod, the motion automatic after years of practice. My savings account has already recovered from booking my Florida trip, thanks to my salary, and a forgotten Christmas bonus I'd stashed away. "Oh," Dad says, pausing mid-signature like he's just remembered something trivial. "Isn't your birthday sometime next month too?" Before I can answer, Mom pats my hand. "We can do pizza at our house for you after Bianca's celebration dies down. Nothing fancy, but still nice." The old Kendall would have smiled gratefully. This Kendall just writes, "pizza," in all caps in her planner, and underlines it 3 times. "Thanks, Mom. That sounds perfect." The next morning, although it's Sunday, I email my boss requesting personal days, my first vacation in 2 years. "Family emergency," I write, which isn't entirely untrue. My emergency need to escape my family qualifies. On Wednesday, before the birthday party, I pack at night, when I'm sure no one will drop by unannounced. Each item feels like a small rebellion: my brightest sundress, the swimsuit I bought 3 summers ago but never wore, sunglasses too bold for practical Kendall. When Bianca texts demanding I find gold-dipped orchids for the tables, I wait 40 minutes before responding. When Mom calls about changing the menu again, I let it go to voicemail until my lunch break. Small rebellions, but they make me stand taller. The final payment for the dolphin swimming excursion hits my credit card on Thursday, scheduled perfectly for my actual birthday. I trace my finger over the confirmation email, something warm spreading through my chest. Mine. For me, finally. That night, my phone rings at 9:47 p.m. Dad's voice booms through the speaker before I can even say hello. "Emergency family meeting, now. Bianca's having a crisis." I arrive to find Bianca pacing the living room, mascara streaking down her cheeks. 15 more people RSVP'd, yes, today. 15. Where will they sit? What will they eat? The seating chart is ruined. Mom rushes to her side with tissues while Dad turns to me, expectation heavy in his gaze. "This is what you do best, dear," Mom says. "Fix it." 3 faces stare at me. Bianca's desperate. Mom's pleading. Dad's demanding. The old Kendall would have already grabbed her laptop, already started calling vendors, already solving the problem. I take a deep breath and meet their eyes one by one. "Everything is under control. Trust me." The words hang in the room. To them, I'm promising to handle Bianca's crisis. To me, I'm confirming my escape is perfectly planned. Dad's shoulders relax. "I knew we could count on you." If only they knew. At dawn, the following day, the alarm buzzed at 3:30 a.m., but I was not sleeping. Rachel's text comes exactly 5 minutes later. Outside. Engine off. No lights. I wheel my suitcase silently down the hallway, locking my apartment door behind me. Rachel hugs me before taking my bag. "Operation Birthday Girl is officially underway," she whispers, her grin visible even in the dark. The drive to the airport feels like crossing a border into a new country, one where I matter. Rachel hands me a travel mug of coffee and a birthday card signed by everyone in on the plan. At check-in, the attendant smiles. "You've been upgraded to first class, Miss Matthews." I turn to Rachel and squeeze her hand. She smiles and nods back. Aunt Susan's text arrives as I wait to board. "Package delivered to rental house. Happy early birthday, sweetheart. So proud of you." The group chat with my friends buzzes with excitement. Weather forecast. Perfect. Dinner reservations confirmed. Cake ordered your favorite. When my row is called, I stand tall, boarding pass firm in my hand. As the plane doors close, I switch my phone to airplane mode, the notification count of missed calls from my family disappearing. Relief washes over me like cool water. Later that day, I step into sunshine so bright it makes me squint with Rachel. The rental car takes me along coastal roads until I pull up to a pale blue house with wide windows facing the ocean. As my friends also came with me, Rachel, Michael, and my college roommate Lisa are now on the porch, holding a banner that reads, "Happy Birthday, Kendall." The sight of it, my name in bright letters, makes my throat tight. Inside, tasteful decorations catch the sunlight, nothing like the gaudy, excessive preparations for Bianca. Just simple, beautiful touches that show someone thought about what I would like. Rachel hands me a champagne flute. "To Kendall," she says, raising her glass, finally celebrating the birthday girl who deserves it. We clink glasses, and I look around at these people who traveled here just for me, who took days off work, who spent their money and time to make me feel special. "I need to change my voicemail," I say suddenly, pulling out my phone. They watch as I record. "Hi, you've reached Kendall. I'm unavailable until further notice. Please leave a message." Unavailable. The word tastes like freedom. That evening, I walk alone on the beach as the sun sinks toward the horizon. The water rushes over my feet, then retreats, again and again. Like the years I've spent giving and retreating, giving and retreating. For the first time, I let myself feel the pain of being overlooked. Tears come hot and fast, drops of salt water joining the vast ocean before me. Footsteps approach from behind. My friends surround me, Rachel holding a chocolate cupcake with a single candle flickering in the breeze, an early celebration. "Make a wish," Lisa says softly. I close my eyes. I wish to never disappear again. The candle goes out. I open my eyes to find them all smiling at me. "I think this is the first time I've felt special on my birthday," I whisper. Michael pulls out his phone for a group selfie, the sunset painting us in gold. "Caption?" he asks, thumb hovering over the screen. I smile, feeling lighter than I have in years. Best birthday I've never had. On Bianca's birthday that Saturday, the grand ballroom of Westlake Country Club stands empty at 6:15 p.m. No twinkling fairy lights, no champagne fountain, no centerpieces with fresh roses. Just bare tables and undecorated walls. The venue manager glances at his watch, shrugging at the waitstaff who hover near the kitchen doors. At 6:27, the first guests arrive in cocktail attire. They wander through the unlocked doors, voices echoing in the cavernous space. "Is this the Matthews party?" A woman in a sequined gown asks the confused server. "No setup has been scheduled for today," he replies, checking his clipboard. "We have nothing on the calendar." By 6:45, the parking lot fills with luxury cars and confused attendees. Small clusters form as guests check their invitations, confirming the date and time. At exactly 7 o'clock, Bianca makes her entrance through the double doors. Her custom-made gold gown catches the fluorescent overhead lights as her expression transforms from regal anticipation to horror. "Where is everything?" Her voice rises sharply. "Where are the decorations? The bar? The DJ?" She spins toward our parents, who stand frozen just inside the doorway. Mom fumbles for her phone, frantically dialing the venue manager's number. "There must be some mistake," she says, voice trembling as the manager approaches. "We booked weeks ago. My daughter handled all the arrangements." "I'm sorry, Mrs. Matthews," he says, reviewing his tablet. "We have no record of any reservation for tonight. Nothing has been booked, and no deposits were placed. .com. Dad steps forward, reaching for his wallet. "There's been a misunderstanding. I can pay now whatever premium necessary." The manager's expression remains professionally sympathetic. "Sir, we're fully booked tomorrow with a wedding." We have no staff scheduled tonight, no catering prepared, and the decorating crew isn't here. There's nothing available. As in it mind, Dio. Outside in the parking lot, Bianca screams into her phone. Kendall, answer your damn phone. What have you done? Her mascara runs in black rivulets down her flushed cheeks. She stabs at the screen again and again, each call going straight to voicemail. Mom paces between confused guests, phone pressed against her ear. Kendall, this is your mother. Call me immediately. Your sister's party is. There's been some kind of, just call me back. Her voice cracks as she hangs up and immediately redials. Maybe she had an accident. Dad suggests, loosening his tie as sweat beads on his forehead. Should we call the hospitals? I posted the invitations on my story last week, Bianca wails as friends awkwardly pat her shoulder. Everyone will know my birthday was ruined. Mom gathers herself, addressing the growing crowd. We're moving the celebration to our home. Please follow us there. But guests are already drifting toward their cars, making excuses about babysitters and early morning commitments. By 8:30, Bianca sits on our parents' couch scrolling through her phone, sobbing afresh. Marissa already posted about the birthday disaster. It's all over Instagram. During that time, in Florida, I stretch out on a massage table as gentle hands work the knots from my shoulders. Ocean waves provide the soundtrack through open windows, and I haven't touched my phone in hours. Best birthday gift ever, I murmur as the masseuse works on a particularly tight spot between my shoulder blades. In the beach house kitchen, Rachel screens my messages, fielding the 20th call from my mother. Still, no answer. She tells Michael and Jen, who arrange a birthday breakfast tray with fresh fruit and mimosas. Should we show her any of these? Michael asks, holding up my phone as it buzzes again. Rachel shakes her head. Not yet. This vacation is for her only. Days later, when my actual birthday comes, at sunrise with my friends, I pose with my mimosa against the brilliant orange sky, salt spray in my hair and genuine joy on my face. Rachel captures the moment perfectly. Caption? She asks, showing me the photo. I think for a moment. 26 years later, finally celebrating ME. Hashtag my birthday my way. Within an hour, notifications flood my account. Coworkers, high school friends, and distant relatives leave comments. You go, girl. About time. Wait, isn't this when your sister's big party was supposed to be? Looking happier than I've ever seen you. Aunt Susan's comment appears prominently. So proud of you for finally putting yourself first, sweetheart. Happy birthday. Later that day, after we swam with dolphins, I switched to Bianca's profile to find a stream of sympathetic messages beneath her tearful selfie, captioned, "Worst birthday ever." Her responses reveal the truth. My selfish sister abandoned her responsibilities, and she deliberately sabotaged everything after we trusted her. By evening, I check my phone again. The notification banner shows 60 missed calls, 120 text messages, and countless social media alerts. My friends watch nervously as I scroll through the first few vicious texts from my family. Ready for birthday cake? Jen asks, sliding a small chocolate cake toward me with a single glowing candle. Michael snaps the photo, me smiling behind the flickering light, ocean sunset in the background. Caption for this one? Rachel asks. I look at the image, at the genuine happiness in my eyes. Just worth the wait. As I post it, a message notification pops up from Kelly, a girl I haven't spoken to since high school. I always wondered why your family treated you differently. Good for you, Kendall. I turn off my phone and slide it into a drawer. Let's go swimming, I suggest, rising from the table. The weight of decades lifts from my shoulders as we race toward the moonlit waves. Whatever storm awaits me back home can wait. Tonight belongs to me. The day I returned from my birthday trip, my phone buzzed to life as the plane touched down, notifications flooding in like a digital tsunami. 3 voicemails from Dad, 7 texts from Mom, and an email from Bianca with a subject line in all caps. I take a deep breath before listening to the first message. You've destroyed this family. Dad's voice trembles with rage. Come home immediately to fix this. Mom's text cuts deeper. How could you embarrass us like this? Everyone is talking. The email from Bianca contains a paragraph of accusations ending with, "You ruined the most important day of my life. I'll never forgive you." 3. Only Aunt Susan's message offers any comfort. They're planning an ambush when you get home. Stay strong, sweetheart. You did what you needed to do. In the airport bathroom, I stare at my reflection, while Rachel's voice plays through my speakerphone. Remember why you did this. You deserve to be celebrated too. I matter too, I whisper to the mirror, shoulders squared. No more invisible daughter. I practice the words again, louder this time. An older woman at the sink beside me nods approvingly. An hour later, my Uber driver glances at me in the rearview mirror as we approach my apartment building. Whatever you're heading into, you look ready for it. I clutch my beach tote tighter. I hope so. The key turns in my lock, but the door opens before I can push it. They're already inside. Mom sits ramrod straight on my sofa. Dad paces by the window, and Bianca occupies my reading chair, eyes puffy and mascara smudged. How could you be so selfish and childish? Mom launches her attack before I've fully entered. Her voice pitches higher with each word. Dad stops pacing, hands shoved deep in his pockets. We raised you better than this, Kendall. You've always been jealous of me. Bianca's voice breaks on a theatrical sob. I set my bag down slowly, deliberately closing the door behind me. They expect me to crumple, to apologize, to beg forgiveness. I remain standing while they sit. I've been planning my sister's birthdays since I was 15. I begin, my voice steadier than I expected. I've canceled my own plans, used my savings, and spent countless hours making sure Bianca's special days were perfect. Mom opens her mouth, but I hold up my hand. I'm not finished. The words come out sharper than I intended. I pull out my phone and open my calendar app. Here are the last 11 years of our birthdays. See these highlighted dates? Those are Bianca's celebrations. Notice anything about the dates 2 weeks later? My birthdays? I turn the screen toward them. No highlights. No events. Nothing. Dad shifts uncomfortably. That's hardly the point. I've never had a birthday party. My voice doesn't waver. Not once in 26 years. This vacation with my friends was the first time anyone has ever celebrated with me. I pull out a folder organized, just like the one they've handed me for years. Here's a list of expenses I've covered for Bianca's parties. $6,000 in the last 3 years alone. Money I was promised would be reimbursed. The silence stretches between us, thick and uncomfortable. Birthdays aren't important at your age anyway, Mom finally says, waving her hand dismissively. Dad's face hardens. After all we've done for you, this is how you repay us? By humiliating your sister in front of everyone we know? You've always been the boring one, Bianca sniffs. Who would even come to your party? Their words hang in the air, revealing the truth I've always suspected but never wanted to believe. I feel something inside me snap clean, like a rubber band stretched beyond its limit. I spent my birthday with people who actually celebrate me, I say quietly. People who see me as more than just Bianca's backup plan. Mom blinks rapidly, surprised by my calm defiance. Dad's mouth opens and closes without sound. I need my apartment key back. I hold out my hand to Mom, who fumbles in her purse, suddenly unsure. From now on, my birthday will be acknowledged just like Bianca's. I keep my voice even as the key drops into my palm. Either we rebuild this relationship with mutual respect, or we don't have one at all. You can't be serious, Dad sputters. After everything. I am completely serious. I move toward the door and open it wide. I think you should leave now. They rise slowly, disbelief etched across their faces. Mom pauses in the doorway. We should discuss this when you're thinking more clearly. I've never thought more clearly in my life. I meet her gaze without flinching. One by one, they file out. Bianca throws a final glare over her shoulder. I close the door firmly behind them and slide the deadbolt into place. In the sudden quiet of my apartment, I press my back against the door and slide down until I'm sitting on the floor. My hands tremble as the adrenaline ebbs, but for the first time in years, the trembling doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like freedom. A year later, during my birthday party, the doorbell chimes as I adjust the string of twinkling lights draped across my living room. My apartment, once a utilitarian space, now bursts with colors. I've chosen vibrant yellows and coral accents that would have terrified the old Kendall. I smooth my hand over the new haircut. I finally had the courage to try shorter, with caramel highlights framing my face. Birthday girl! Rachel swoops in with a homemade cake, followed by Michael and 3 other friends. Behind them stands Aunt Susan, clutching a wrapped package tied with a satin ribbon. Look at you. Aunt Susan says, giving me a proper once-over, standing tall, taking up space. I catch a glimpse of myself in the hallway mirror. She's right. My shoulders no longer curve inward. My smile reaches my eyes. What a difference a year makes. Rachel raises her glass, champagne catching the light. To the year Kendall found her voice, and to many more birthdays celebrated exactly as they should be. The glasses clink together in my small but tastefully decorated apartment. Pictures from Florida hang prominently on the wall, tangible proof of the moment everything changed. My therapist would call this progress. I say with a laugh that comes easily now, Doctor. Whitman helped me understand that one act of self-respect could ripple through every aspect of my life. Since standing up to my family, I've earned a promotion at work, asked for a raise, started dating again. Your mom called me yesterday, Aunt Susan says quietly, as the others chat across the room. She wanted to make sure I'd be here. The birthday card from Mom arrived 3 days ago, on time, with a handwritten note that said simply, "Thinking of you. Baby steps. Dad still struggles with our new dynamic." Last month he asked when I'd get over this phase. Bianca surprised me though. After 6 months of silence, she texted, "Do you want to get coffee sometime?" We're rebuilding on new terms. Slowly. Present time, Michael announces, piling colorfully wrapped packages on the coffee table. I unwrap each thoughtful gift books I've mentioned wanting to read. A delicate bracelet. A concert tickets. Aunt Susan hands me her package last. Inside lies a silver frame holding a faded photograph of 4-year-old me blowing out candles on a small cake. I took this before your parents decided. Bianca's celebrations should take precedence, she explains. A note tucked behind the photo reads, "There was always someone who saw you. Never forget your worth." My throat tightens. I blink rapidly as I place the frame next to my Florida photos. What do you want for your next birthday? Rachel asks, refilling my glass. Just this, I answer. Presence over presence. Yesterday at work I noticed Jessica, the new hire, apologizing constantly during meetings. I invited her to lunch and shared my story. You're allowed to have opinions, I told her. You're allowed to take up space. In my nightstand drawer lies my journal entry from last week, the year I stopped disappearing. Later, after candles and cake and laughter, I stand alone on my small balcony. The Florida photos hang visibly through the window. On my refrigerator calendar, 2 birthdays are marked with equal prominence, mine and Bianca's. My phone rings. It's Mom, probably calling about the family dinner next weekend. Kendall, can you help with the decorations for your father's retirement party? You're so good with those details. I take a deep breath. No, I can't help with that. I have my own plans that day. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the permission to matter.
The weight of exhaustion pulls at my shoulders as I fumble with my keys, barely registering the familiar click of my front door lock. Another day of endless meetings and forced smiles leaves me craving the sanctuary of my empty apartment. I drop my bag by the door, the soft thud echoing in the silence, and reach for my phone on the hallway table where I'd forgotten it this morning. The screen illuminates with a notification that makes me pause. A video message from Aunt Susan. Strangesh never sends videos. My thumb hovers over the play button as I sink into my favorite armchair, the one that still smells faintly of my grandmother's perfume. The familiar scent usually brings comfort, but tonight something feels off. A whisper of unease crawls up my spine as I press play. The video opens to my parents' living room, the one where I spent countless holidays trying to earn their approval. Mom's voice carries through the speaker first, sharp with laughter that sounds nothing like the careful tone she uses with me. "It's almost too easy," she says, and my breath catches at the cruel edge in her words. Dad leans into frame, his face flushed from what must be his 3rd glass of wine. "Our little ATM?" He chuckles, and my stomach lurches. "Just mention family obligation and she'll empty her savings. Did you see how fast she transferred the money for Ethan's emergency last week?" My brother's voice joins in, and the betrayal cuts deeper. She didn't even ask what it was for. Their laughter fills my apartment, bouncing off the walls until I can barely breathe. My hands shake so badly I almost drop the phone, but I can't look away. Every word they speak hammers another crack into the foundation of what I thought was truth. The screen blurs as tears well up, but I force myself to keep watching. Years of memories flash through my mind. Mom's urgent calls about overdue bills, Dad showing up at my workplace to demand help with the mortgage, Ethan's endless string of crises that only money could solve. Each recollection takes on a darker shade now, revealing the manipulation I was too loyal to see. She's so desperate to be the good daughter. Mom's voice drips with satisfaction. Remember when she skipped her vacation to pay for the roof repairs? I remember the overtime hours, the missed opportunities, the dreams I put on hold, all to prove my worth to people who saw me as nothing more than a walking bank account. My chest tightens until each breath feels like swallowing glass. The video continues, but their voices fade beneath the roaring in my ears. I grip the armrest, anchoring myself as my world tilts on its axis. The soft fabric under my fingers feels wrong somehow, too normal for a moment that's shattering everything I thought I knew. The timestamp in the corner shows the video was recorded just yesterday during what Mom called a small family gathering I was too busy to attend. Too busy working extra hours to build up my savings again after Ethan's latest emergency. A notification pops up, Aunt Susan sending frantic follow-up texts. "Oh God, Lily, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send that to you. Please delete it." But she did send it, and I can't unsee it. I replay the video, each viewing crystallizing the truth I've spent years denying, the casual cruelty in their laughter, the calculated manipulation in their plans, the complete absence of love in their eyes when they speak my name. My phone buzzes with an incoming call from Mom. Her contact photo smiles up at me, the same practice smile she uses when she needs something. My finger hovers over the answer button, years of conditioning urging me to respond, to smooth things over, to keep the peace at any cost. But for the first time, I see the pattern for what it is. Each call, each crisis, each guilt-laden conversation designed to separate me from my money and my self-worth. The phone keeps buzzing as I stare at the scattered bills on my desk, physical reminders of my family's emergencies. A hard knot forms in my throat as I pick up a pen and begin to write, my hands still trembling, but my vision clearing. I will not be manipulated anymore. The words look strange on paper, foreign yet freeing. I've spent so long being the good daughter, the reliable sister, the endless source of support. But as I sit in my darkening apartment watching my mother's call fade to a missed notification, I realize something that shakes me to my core. I don't know who I am without their demands. Each family member has played their part perfectly in this manipulation. Mom, the maestro of guilt trips, her voice always trembling with manufactured crisis. Dad, the enforcer, showing up at my workplace to shame me into compliance when I dare to hesitate. And Ethan, my baby brother, the one I've protected since childhood, wielding my love for him like a weapon. The video plays one final time, and I watch them with new eyes. Mom's perfectly timed sighs when she needs money. Dad's practiced scowl that appears the moment I question any request. Ethan's wounded looks that make me feel like I'm abandoning him if I say no. They've crafted their roles in this performance with devastating precision. My phone lights up again, Ethan this time. The text preview shows just enough. "Sis, I really need your help with." I set the phone face down on my desk. In the sudden silence, a question rises that I can't push away. How can I break free when every piece of who I am has been shaped by their manipulation? The answer waits somewhere in the darkness beyond their influence, and for the first time in my life, I'm ready to find it. Have you ever discovered that the people closest to you aren't who you thought they were? Share your story in the comments below. The video plays again in front of me, but this time I notice something I missed before. A series of notifications flash across the top of the screen, frantic messages from Aunt Susan appearing in real time as she recorded. "Karen, are you sure about this? What if she finds out? We should delete this." My hands steady on the phone as the reality crystallizes. This wasn't just a casual moment of cruelty caught on camera. They planned this. Every laugh, every cruel comment, it was all orchestrated. Mom's voice cuts through the speaker again, and the memories flood in like a toxic tide. Last month's barrage of texts about the mortgage payment. "Your father and I could lose everything. Is that what you want?" The month before that, "Ethan's in trouble. He needs help now." And 2 weeks ago, "Why aren't you answering? Family should come first." Each message arrives with perfect timing, always when I'm at my most vulnerable late at night after a long day at work, or early morning when my defenses are down. The constant ping of notifications trained me like Pavlov's dog, each sound a reminder of my failure to meet their endless needs. Dad's tactics are more direct. I close my eyes and I'm back at my office 3 months ago, his broad frame casting a shadow over my desk as coworkers pretend not to stare. "Your mother's crying because of you," he announced loud enough for everyone to hear. "Is this job more important than your family?" The memory makes my chest tight. I'd transferred the money right there, fingers trembling on the keyboard just to make him leave, just like I always do. Ethan's voice drifts from the phone now, his familiar laugh twisting into something ugly. "Watch this, sis. I really need your help. It's an emergency. Works every time." My brother. My baby brother, who I've protected since he was small enough to hide behind me during thunderstorms. The last time he called with an emergency, I canceled my vacation plans to help him. The time before that, I dipped into my retirement savings. Each crisis manufactured, each desperate plea a performance designed to separate me from my money and my self-worth. A text from Jessica lights up my screen, breaking through the spiral of memories. "Hey, you've seemed off lately. Want to grab coffee?" Jessica, who noticed something was wrong weeks ago, who gently suggested I talk to her mentor Michael about setting boundaries. I dismissed her concerns then, defending my family's honor like a good daughter should. My fingers hover over the keyboard before I type, "Are you free now?" Her response comes quickly. "Always for you? Usual spot?" I need this someone outside the toxic bubble of my family's influence, someone who won't demand anything except honesty. The phone rings, Mom's name flashing on the screen. Her voice comes through sharp and cold. "What do you think you're doing? Without your money, this family falls apart. Is that what you want? Your father's health isn't getting any better, and Ethan's about to lose his apartment." She pauses, letting the weight of her words sink in. "If you abandon us now, don't expect to ever be welcomed back." The familiar guilt rises, but something else rises with it. Anger. Hot and clarifying, burning away the fog of manipulation. My fingers move across the keyboard, typing out words I never thought I'd dare to send. "I'm not sending money this month." The response is immediate. Accusations of betrayal, reminders of all they've sacrificed, threats of what my defiance will cost, each message designed to break my resolve, to force me back into line. My phone buzzes with another message, this time from Michael, Jessica's mentor. "Jessica told me what's happening. Remember, setting boundaries isn't betrayal. Call me if you need backup." But as the texts pour in, I notice my laptop screen blinking with a new email notification. The subject line stops my breath. R.E. Lily's account, next steps. I open it with trembling fingers, and my world shifts again. There, in crisp black and white, is an email chain between my family members, detailing their plans for the coming months. Each crisis scheduled and scripted, each guilt trip carefully crafted to maximize impact. They've been coordinating their attacks, timing their demands to ensure I never have a chance to build my savings or question their motives. The evidence of their calculations sears itself into my mind. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about power, control, the systematic destruction of my independence disguised as family obligation. Mom's contact photo flashes on my phone again, her practiced smile now a grotesque reminder of every lie she's ever told me. But for the first time, I let it ring unanswered, my eyes fixed on the email that changes everything. What hidden truths do you think lie beneath a toxic family's facade? Comment below with your theories. My shoulders tense as Karen's voice cuts through the bustling office, sharp and precise as a surgeon's blade. "How dare you ignore my calls?" The words slice across the marketing department's open floor plan, drawing curious glances from my colleagues. I grip my coffee mug tighter, willing my hands not to shake. "Mom, I'm at work." The words come out steadier than I feel. Behind me, I hear Sarah from accounting pause her typing. "Oh, so now you're too important to help your family?" Karen's laugh crackles through the speakerphone, the same calculated laugh I heard in that video. "What happened to being grateful for everything we've done for you?" Heat creeps up my neck as I notice Tom, my supervisor, emerging from his office. His eyebrows rise at the commotion. I fumble to switch off the speaker, but Karen's voice has already achieved its intended effect. The damage is done. Later that evening, at Bellini's restaurant where the families gathered for Uncle Mike's birthday, I slide into a corner booth hoping to stay invisible. But Richard's voice carries across the white tablecloths and wine glasses, loud enough to ensure everyone hears. Some people, he announces to the table of relatives, swirling his third glass of Cabernet, think they're too good for family once they get a fancy office job. His eyes fix on me, lips curling into a smirk. Isn't that right, Lily? The fresh bruise to my reputation stings, but something else rises in my chest, a familiar pressure building like steam in a kettle. I watch him take another self-satisfied sip, and suddenly I'm tired. Tired of being the punching bag. Tired of measuring my worth in dollars withdrawn. I set down my fork, the clatter against fine china drawing attention. Actually, Dad, I think it's more that some people view family as an ATM rather than actual relatives. The words surprise even me with their clarity. Richard chokes mid-sip. Aunt Susan's eyes widen. She knows exactly what I'm referring to. The video she accidentally sent still burns in my phone. A digital smoking gun. That night in my apartment, I stand before the bathroom mirror. The woman staring back looks different somehow, shoulders straighter, jaw set with newfound determination. I think of Karen's performance at my office, of Richard's theatrical dismantling of my character at dinner. Each attempt to shame me has only crystallized something I've been afraid to admit. Their power over me exists only because I've allowed it. My phone buzzes on the counter, another text from Ethan. Hey sis, hate to ask, but I'm in a really tight spot. I let it sit unanswered, focusing instead on my reflection. The constant pressure of their demands has shaped me like water shapes rock, wearing away at my edges until I fit the mold they created. But erosion can be stopped. Damage can be reinforced. I grab my laptop and open a new document. My fingers hover over the keys for a moment before I begin typing. Documentation of financial exploitation. The title stares back at me, both terrifying and liberating. I begin listing every emergency payment, every guilt-laden transfer, every manipulation disguised as family obligation. The numbers add up far too quickly. Years of helping out with mortgages, car payments, and Ethan's endless crises scroll down my screen. Each entry reinforces my resolve. This isn't help anymore. It's systematic exploitation. A new text lights up my phone. Jessica, this time. Coffee tomorrow? Been worried about you. Jessica, who's watched this pattern play out for years. Jessica, who's never asked me for a dime. I text back a quick, yes, something warming in my chest that feels like hope. The next morning, the familiar scent of coffee and pastries at the daily grind wraps around me like a comfortable sweater. Jessica slides into the seat across from me, and I notice Michael, my old mentor from grad school, approaching with 3 steaming mugs. I hope you don't mind, Jessica says. I asked Michael to join us. We're worried, Lil. Michael sets down the coffee and fixes me with the same steady gaze that got me through my thesis anxiety. Your father came by my office yesterday, he says quietly, making some interesting claims about your mental state. The old Lily would have crumbled at this news, but I think of the documentation waiting on my laptop, of Karen's public performance, of Richard's wine-soaked accusations. I wrap my hands around the warm mug, drawing strength from its solidity. They're escalating, I say, surprised by the clinical tone in my voice, because they're losing control. Jessica reaches across the table, squeezing my hand. You don't have to go through this alone. Michael nods, pulling out a business card. I have a friend who specializes in financial abuse cases, just to understand your options. I take the card, its edges sharp and clean against my fingers. In its blank white surface, I see possibilities I've never allowed myself to consider. The pressure in my chest transforms into something else, not quite peace, not quite triumph, but perhaps the first real breath I've taken in years. Just remember, Ethan's voice cuts through the weekend quiet of Thompson Park. Everything our parents did was for you, Lily. The music lessons, the college tours. He gestures broadly to our gathered friends at the community barbecue, his voice carrying across the lawn. While I had to figure everything out myself, I watch the faces of our childhood friends shift uncomfortably. This is classic Ethan, turning every gathering into a performance of his victimhood. Tell them about the car they bought you, he continues, voice dripping with mock sweetness, while I had to take the bus. The car they convinced me to co-sign for, I correct quietly. The one I'm still paying off 5 years later. His face reddens. There you go again, twisting everything. You know what your problem is, Lily? You're selfish. You've always been selfish. Something inside me snaps. Years of swallowed responses rise to the surface. Selfish? My voice carries across the stunned silence. Was it selfish when I drained my savings for your business venture? Or when I worked double shifts to cover Mom's mortgage? Each word feels like breaking free from invisible chains. Tell them about the video, Ethan. The one where you all laughed about your little ATM. He pales, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Around us, the murmurs begin. Later that night, I sit cross-legged on my bedroom floor, surrounded by old photo albums. Each smiling family photo now tells a different story. The Christmas I couldn't afford a vacation because of Dad's emergency. The graduation where Mom guilted me into paying for Ethan's student loan payment instead of putting a down payment on a house. My fingers trace the edges of a photo from my first job celebration. I'm beaming at the camera, unaware that my starting bonus would disappear into Karen's credit card debt the very next week. Tears blur my vision, but they feel different now, not tears of hurt, but of release. At my desk, I open my laptop. The documentation I started grows more detailed. Dates, amounts, screenshots of texts. Each piece of evidence transforms from a source of shame into a weapon of truth. I create folders, organize years of financial records, and start recording every interaction. A plan takes shape in my mind, not just escape, but exposure. My hands pause over the keyboard as I open a final folder buried deep in my email archive. Inside, I find what I've been looking for, the original loan documents for the house. The ones with my signature forged in Karen's hasty scrawl, the missing piece that changes everything. I stand before the mirror again, but this time I don't see a victim. I see a woman who's done being the family scapegoat. I will not be manipulated anymore, I declare to my reflection, voice steady and clear. I will not be their ATM. The pressure in my chest transforms into something else, not quite peace, not quite triumph, but perhaps the first real breath I've taken in years. The cursor blinks on my screen, steady as a heartbeat. I've typed and deleted the email subject line 7 times now, but the words finally feel right. Financial record of family support 2020 to 2024. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I review the spreadsheet one last time. Every transaction, every guilt-laden transfer, every emergency payment meticulously documented. The numbers tell their own story, one of systematic exploitation that makes my stomach clench. Send me your bank statements. Michael had advised yesterday, we'll build an ironclad case. My mentor's steady voice echoes in my mind as I copy the data into the email body, each line an indictment. Asterisk January 2020. Emergency roof repair, $8,400. February 2020. Mom's overdue medical bills, $3,200. It's March 2020. Ethan's car trouble, $2,800 asterisk. The list stretches endlessly. 4 years of financial drainage, perfectly cataloged. My hands shake slightly as I add the total at the bottom, $147,632. Nearly my entire life savings gone to feed their endless needs. The phone rings, Mom's ringtone. I silence it without looking, focusing instead on the final paragraph of my email. This will be my last communication regarding financial support. Any further attempts to extract money will be met with legal action. All documentation has been shared with my attorney. I hit send before I can second-guess myself. The whoosh of the sent email feels like a door slamming shut. The response is immediate and explosive. My phone erupts with notifications. Mom's voice trembles in her voicemail. How dare you air our private business like this, after everything we've done for you? I delete it mid-sentence. Dad's message is next, his tone sharp enough to cut. You ungrateful little, delete. A text from Ethan pops up. Way to stab your family in the back. Real classy, sis. I screenshot it for evidence and block his number. The cafe where I meet Jessica for lunch becomes my sanctuary from the digital onslaught. The familiar scent of coffee and pastries grounds me as I slide into our usual corner booth. But peace is short, lived Ethan's voice cuts through the ambient chatter. There's my sister, the family traitor. He's already halfway to our table, cheeks flushed with what I recognize as his performative rage. Everyone, want to hear how she's abandoning her own blood? The cafe falls quiet. My chest tightens as heads turn our way. This is exactly the kind of public scene I've always dreaded, the reason I've given in so many times before. But something has shifted inside me. I meet his gaze steadily. You mean how I'm refusing to be your personal ATM anymore? A couple at the next table snickers. Ethan's face darkens. You've taken everything from us, he spits. Actually, I pull out my phone, opening the spreadsheet. I can show you exactly who took what from whom. Would you like me to share it with everyone here? The color drains from his face. He backs away, nearly stumbling into a waiter's tray. You've changed, he mutters, but the venom in his voice has been replaced by something that sounds almost like fear. Yes, I say simply, I have. Later that evening, in the community hall I've rented for this purpose, I stand before my extended family with a projector remote in my hand. The screen behind me displays the first of many damning pieces of evidence. See screenshots, bank statements, recorded conversations, all meticulously organized. I've called this meeting, my voice carries clearly through the stunned silence, to ensure complete transparency about our family's financial situation. Click. Mom's frantic text messages about fictional emergencies fill the screen. Click. Dad's threatening emails demanding more money. Click. Ethan's manipulative pleas for just one more loan. Aunt Susan's hand flies to her mouth. Uncle Jim stares at his shoes. Cousin Rachel whispers something to her husband that makes him shake his head in disgust. As I continue my presentation, I watch the family's carefully constructed facade crumble. With each new revelation, their web of lies unravels further. The power they've held over me for so long dissolves in the harsh light of truth. My phone buzzes with a notification. Jessica has posted our cafe confrontation online, accompanied by a fierce defense of my actions. Michael's response appears moments later, sharing my documented evidence with his considerable professional network. Other supporters join in, their voices creating a shield wall of solidarity around me. The mighty Karen and Richard, my manipulative parents, sit frozen in their chairs, their usual arsenal of guilt and threats rendered useless by the public exposure. Ethan, my once cocky brother, seems to shrink with each new piece of evidence. I end the presentation with a final screenshot, the video that started it all, where they laughed about exploiting my generosity. The sound of their cruel laughter fills the room, but this time it doesn't wound me. Instead, it feels like the final nail in the coffin of their control. As the crowd disperses, I catch a glimpse of something I never expected. Ethan, alone in the corner, his shoulders slumped as he stares at his phone. For a moment, the arrogant mask slips, revealing something that looks almost like regret. He quickly looks away when he notices me watching. Through the thin walls of the hall, I overhear Aunt Susan's voice, thick with emotion as she speaks into her phone. I can't believe what we've done to her. All these years. She trails off, and I recognize the sound of someone grappling with their own complicity. Back in my apartment, I spread the evidence across my desk, bank statements, screenshots, recorded calls. My laptop screen glows with social media reactions, each supportive comment another brick in the wall between me and my family's manipulation. I open a fresh document and begin typing. Legal action preparation, phase 1. The familiar tension in my shoulders eases as I outline my next steps. Each piece of evidence carefully cataloged, each potential legal argument mapped out. This isn't just reaction anymore, it's strategy. My hands steady as I work, the trembling uncertainty of the past replaced by methodical purpose. A notification breaks my concentration. A new email. Sender anonymous, subject line cryptic. The final piece of the puzzle is closer than you think. My heart pounds as I read the preview text. Whatever this is, it could change everything again. The legal notice lands in my inbox with the sharp ping of an incoming email. Another one. I've received 15 similar messages in the past hour, each more threatening than the last. My mother's latest reads like a war declaration, peppered with phrases like moral bankruptcy and sacred family duty. My phone buzzes again, Dad this time. His voicemail notification popping up alongside a local news article where he's quoted calling me a daughter who's abandoned her family's values. The irony would be funny if it didn't make my stomach twist. I minimize his message and open my laptop instead. The document I've been preparing glows on the screen. Bank statements, text messages, recorded conversations, a digital paper trail of years of exploitation. Each piece of evidence has been meticulously organized, ready for the press conference I've scheduled for tomorrow. My brother's face appears on the television as I'm reviewing the files. He's standing at a podium, Mom hovering by his side like a puppet master. Family isn't just about blood, Ethan declares, his voice cracking with manufactured emotion. It's about sacrifice, about responsibility. My sister has forgotten that. The words hit their intended mark. Me chest tightens with familiar guilt, but this time, the feeling doesn't take root. Instead, I think of the video that started all this, of their laughter as they called me their walking ATM. The memory straightens my spine. My phone lights up with a message from Sarah, my PR consultant. Community centers booked. Local press confirmed. You ready? My fingers hover over the keyboard for a moment before I type, yes. The next morning, I stand before a packed room. Cameras click and whir as I step up to the podium, my USB drive containing the evidence feeling heavy in my hand. The weight of what I'm about to do settles on my shoulders, but it doesn't crush me. Not anymore. For years, I begin, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I believed that family meant sacrificing everything, your savings, your dreams, your self-worth. Today, I'm going to show you what that sacrifice really looked like. The first bank statement appears on the screen behind me. Mom's urgent text about the mortgage payment she couldn't make, the one I later discovered she'd spent on a luxury cruise. Dad's threatening email about showing up at my workplace if I didn't help with Ethan's emergency car repairs the same car he sold a week later for profit. Murmurs ripple through the crowd as each piece of evidence builds upon the last. The room grows tense with collective shock as the full scope of their manipulation unfolds on the screen. I keep my voice level, letting the facts speak for themselves. The video clip of my family's laughter plays last. The sound echoes through the silent room, their cruel words about their little ATM landing with devastating clarity. When the screen goes dark, the silence holds for one breath. Two, before erupting into a storm of camera flashes and shouted questions. My phone explodes with notifications as the story hits social media. Within hours, the video goes viral, my family's carefully crafted image crumbling under the weight of their exposed lies. Local news stations pick up the story, their coverage spreading like wildfire across national networks. A week later, I stand before another audience, this time at a community forum on financial abuse. Mom, Dad, and Ethan sit in the front row, their lawyers flanking them like guards. They're here to attempt damage control, but their usual tactics feel hollow under the harsh fluorescent lights and dozens of watchful eyes. You've heard my family's version of events, I say into the microphone, my voice carrying to every corner of the room. About duty, about obligation, about the daughter who betrayed their trust. I pause, meeting each of their eyes in turn. But obligation isn't love, duty isn't family, and exposing abuse isn't betrayal. The applause starts slowly, then builds into a wave that drowns out my parents' attempts to interrupt. I watch their faces as their last grip on control slips away, replaced by the dawning realization that their power was always built on sand. The final battle takes place in a courtroom 3 days later. My lawyer presents our dossier to a panel of judges, the evidence even more damning under the stark courtroom lights. Mom and Dad sit rigid in their chairs as the judge reviews years of financial manipulation, their faces growing paler with each documented instance of exploitation. When the judge speaks, her voice rings with certainty. The court finds clear evidence of systematic financial exploitation. She looks directly at my family. All claims on Miss Anderson's financial support are hereby nullified. The words echo through the courtroom, and for the first time in years, I feel truly free. The gallery erupts in supportive murmurs as my family's lawyers shuffle their papers, desperately searching for grounds to appeal. But we all know it's over. As I leave the courthouse, reporters thrust microphones toward me, asking how it feels to win, but my attention is caught by something else. My phone screen lighting up with a notification. An encrypted message from an unknown number. The final chapter is yet to be written. I tuck the phone away, feeling the weight of unfinished business settle alongside my victory. The truth has been told, justice has been served, but something tells me this story isn't over yet. Have you ever wondered if true revenge brings freedom or if it just creates new battles to fight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Morning light streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across my newly renovated downtown Seattle apartment. The space feels different now, lighter somehow, as if the fresh paint and rearranged furniture have scrubbed away the lingering darkness of the past year. I arrange a silver frame on my desk, smiling at the photo of Jessica and me at last month's charity run. Next to it, I place the certificate from my self-empowerment workshop and a handwritten note from Michael that simply reads, "You've got this." Such simple words, but they mean everything now. My laptop screen glows with my updated 5-year plan. The goals I've set feel ambitious but achievable, expanding my marketing consultancy, leading workshops for others, breaking free from financial abuse, maybe even writing a book someday. Each milestone represents another step away from the person I used to be, the family ATM, the perpetual caregiver, the woman who measured her worth in sacrifices. The local cafe where I now sit with Jessica bears little resemblance to the place where I once huddled in corners, answering Karen's frantic calls about imaginary emergencies. The afternoon sun warms the wooden table between us as Jessica describes her latest project challenges. The client keeps moving the deadline, she says, frustration evident in her voice. I take a thoughtful sip of my tea, considering her words. Have you discussed implementing a change order process? It could help manage scope creep. The confidence in my voice surprises me, not because the advice isn't sound, but because I remember a time when I wouldn't have trusted my own judgment enough to offer it. The community center's meeting room feels intimate with its warm lighting and circle of chairs. 10 faces turn toward me as I share my story, each person carrying their own burden of toxic family dynamics. My voice remains steady as I describe the video that changed everything, the subsequent battles, and the freedom I found in finally saying, no. Recovery isn't linear, I explain, catching Michael's encouraging nod from the doorway. Some days you'll want to give in, to believe their promises of change. But healing begins when you realize that protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. The rain creates a gentle backdrop as I notice Hera woman standing outside the library, shoulders hunched, phone clutched in trembling hands. I recognize that posture, that look of desperate resignation. I'd worn it myself countless times. Are you okay? I ask softly, approaching with careful steps. Her name is Maria, and her story tumbles out between sobs, a familiar tale of family members who view love as a transaction, of guilt used as currency, of dreams postponed for others' emergencies. We find shelter under a nearby park pavilion, and I share my own journey, watching hope slowly replace despair in her eyes. The first step, I tell her, is believing you deserve better. Dawn breaks over Puget Sound, painting the water in shades of gold and promise. From my balcony, I watch seabirds wheel against the brightening sky, their freedom a reflection of my own. A text notification breaks the morning silence, Ethan, probably with another crisis, another demand. I don't open it. Instead, I think about the woman I've become, the one who helps others find their voice, who knows her worth isn't measured in dollars given or sacrifices made. The one who finally understands that real love doesn't demand your self-destruction. The community art exhibit pulses with energy as I weave through the crowd, each piece telling its own story of resilience and renewal. A striking phoenix rises from scattered chains, its wings spread wide against a backdrop of breaking dawn. The artist Sarah catches my eye and smiles. Your story inspired this piece, she says, extending her hand. I join a small group gathered near a multimedia installation, exchanging stories and contact information. A photographer named Alex shares his vision for documenting survivors' journeys. A counselor, Diana, discusses starting a workshop series for financial empowerment. Each conversation opens new doors, new possibilities. My phone fills with new connections, mail addresses, social media handles, tentative lunch dates. These aren't just networking contacts. They're the foundation of something deeper. Authentic friendships built on mutual understanding and respect, not obligation and guilt. The future stretches before me, vast and unmarked, a blank canvas waiting to be filled with genuine relationships, personal growth, and dreams that belong solely to me. For the first time in my life, I'm not afraid of what tomorrow might bring. I am enough, exactly as I am. What does freedom mean to you? Share your vision of a fresh start in the comments below.